Okay, let's get right on with it. Void gates and fissure are the same thing in practice, in the sense that both allow passage between the source and the 13th. Difference in terminology refers to the circumstances of their creation. Good. Fissure is an incidental tear of the fabric between worlds, whereas a void gate is a product of deliberate action. I suspect this is the latter, judging by the elaborate mechanism put in place to control it. To think that our search for material riches would lead to this priceless discovery. That swirling emptiness. It puts me in the mind of old friends, not to mention old foes. Cutscene. Or no. Okay, no, no. Perhaps I might linger a touch longer. Okay. Oof. Looks like the 13th is our next destination, maybe. I'd love that. I want to restore that place.
I must admit, I am deathly curious to know how a void gate came to be hidden in the depths of these ruins.
To tell that tale, we must first peer far to the south, and even further into memory. An age 5 millennia passed when the Algan Empire sent an invading force to the shores of Meracidia. The southern people rallied around the commanding figures of Bahamut and Tiamat and fought fiercely to repel the would-be conquerors. With Bahamut's defeat, however, the tide turned against them. Desperate to seize any advantage, the Mercidians resorted to summoning primal entities. In response, Emperor Zande forged a covenant with the Cloud of Darkness, sovereign among the all-devouring denizens of the Void. Thus bolstered by icons on one side and Void Scent on the other, the two armies clashed in a battle of unspeakable carnage. So much death, so much loss.
This connects.
I consider myself well versed in that period of history, yet you speak as one who witnessed it happen.
Indeed, I did. I heard Tiamat's roar of defiance and sped toward that war-torn land. Along with my sibling, Ashdaya. We dragons are not male or female as men are wont to classify, but elder sister is the closest a mortal tongue can come to describing what she meant to me.
That's interesting.
I was the last of our brood to hatch, and Ashdaya cared for me where my sire could not. Thus, I was with her when Tiamat roared. I was with her when she journeyed south, and I was with her when she fought against the Void-sent hordes. Yet no matter how many of their vile fiends we cast down, more rose from the abyss to take their place. Faced with an unwinnable war of attrition, Ashdaya risked her all on a final gamble. She plunged through the Void Gate itself to strike at the root of their strength.
Jesus.
I tried to follow in her wake, determined to lend what aid I could. But even as I came upon Alag's glittering tower, I saw the rift close behind her. And Ashdaya has been lost to us ever since.
I find I must retract my earlier claim of historical knowledge. Nowhere in the Crystal Tower's archives did I see mention of such noble sacrifice.
That does not surprise me. To Allagan eyes, it must have seemed as if a lone dragon, driven to madness, simply dove through the gate and did not return. For my part, I spent long years searching for the means to reunite with Ashdaya. Until I could search no more. Until Allag was dust, and the art to open a void gate large enough to accommodate a dragon forever lost.
Yet you have the beginnings of a gate right here, under the control of a harnessed device.
My discovery came before Radzat was founded. Though I scoured the lands for a method to cross the rift, it was beneath the sea that I chanced to find a natural planar fissure. It was, however, far too narrow to admit a worm's bulk. Only after our city rose upon the rock, and I could enlist the aid of our talented alchemists, did matters take a favorable turn. Their dedication was beyond reproach. Tirelessly they worked to expand the fissure, and after decades of toil, it finally grew to a size that a child might pass through.
Not long ago, you told us that you called out to your kin, that Ashdaya's answer was silence. I suspect the conclusion to your tale is not a joyful one.
With hope in my heart, I used the simulacrum to cross the threshold. But no, I did not find her. What I found was a host of void scent, clamoring around the opening they had sensed. 'Twas but a moment, but enough. I had no choice but to retreat and allow the portal to contract once more.
The gate was a threat to your people. You had to decide between endangering Razathan and abandoning your sister. And you chose the latter.
'Twas not that thy siblings scorned thy call. 'Twas that she was trapped beyond a barrier through which neither roar nor dragon may pass. Even now, in the desolate world of the 13th.
I can scarce imagine your pain, yet it was wise not to linger in that place. Too long a sojourn, and even a being of your power risks being warped into a creature of the void. You've seen this phenomenon before, when we stepped into the darkness. As did I. Were it not for Une and Doga, or Nero for that matter, we might never have made it home. Do you remember what happened to Nero? How his wounds allowed the void's corruption to enter his body and twist his ether? Had it been allowed to progress much longer, I presume he would have been fully transformed.
Then there is little hope for Ashdaya.
Ah, no. I hadn't meant to. I speak only of possibilities. The scales of the First Brood are extraordinarily resistant to ethereal fluctuations. They are the protective talisman's core components after all, and even the corruption I described would struggle to overcome. Of course. With the warding scale in one's possession, one could conceivably survive a stay in the 13th without being warped by its energies.
We could go in.
Be that as it may, it is too late to rescue my sister. 5,000 years too late. And now countless others look to me for guidance and protection. So when I sensed intruders in the ruins, I came only to ensure that the gate remained closed. That, and to secure the treasure, of course.
Oh, come on, can't we have that?
I wish only to forget the rest.
No, you still love. Don't do anything I wouldn't. It's funny because we did that from the Crystarion, or Norvan. That's like a piece of the puzzle, and this is another piece. So either we're only going to do a part that has to do with the 13, and get a full expansion on it later, or this is going to lead into all of that. And if you're giving multiple, just put like 5 here. Interesting. Okay. So, thinking about it, I can't. There's not much I can even speculate. I need to see where this is going. I do want to go to the 13. I'm curious about the world because we're in a fantasy land. Obviously, Garlemald has more technology, but it's still within the idea of fantasy. But imagine if I don't care for the game of Final Fantasy 13, but imagine we entered a reflection that was pure technology, like modern style. Would that be good or bad? I don't know. It would depend, I guess, on how they make it. I wouldn't hate it, though. I promise we'll discuss the Void Gate further, but first I must attend to the matter of the vault's sentinels. As your instruments have no doubt informed you, the Kapikulu has been reduced so much to a scrap. Please bring a new one out of storage and see that it's conveyed to its post along with some few lesser constructs. Was it Tomb Raiders? Fiends born of the Towers of Zot? By the sisters, do not tell me of blasphemy yet rose free. Oh jeez. I'm gonna blame it on your Stola again. Why such guilty faces? Surely it isn't you who are responsible for this. Oh. Well, the details aren't important. I shall see it done immediately. So much fun animations in this. And with that, the vault will soon be secure once more. Now I believe you have some questions? Quite a few, in fact. But I'd like to begin with the gate itself. Is it still functional, yes? Indeed, which is why I saw it sealed with an alchemically forged lock and warded with my magics. Such power must not fall into the wrong hands. In truth, the primary reason for the vault's construction was to keep the gate hidden from the outside world. So much effort for such a little door. That little door you speak of leads to an abyss teeming with unspeakable horrors. That said, in its current state, it would admit only the lowliest of white sand, and from this side, no man would be able to pass through. No man? I should think Alphino would fit, given a firm enough push. Physical size is only one consideration. The true restriction hinges upon the etheric density of the soul in transit. Raha, then. He has, or me even. And yet you succeed in expanding this diminutive portal and sending your simulacrum to 13. Thanks to my brilliant alchemist. I would have destroyed the anomaly when I found it, but instead, I bade them devise a means to control it. After much experimentation, they accomplished the impossible. A method was conceived by which my magics could manipulate the fissure and transform it into a serviceable gate. But the process has long since been forgotten. Once I had given up searching for Ashdea, there was no need to preserve such historic and dangerous knowledge. Thus has the gate lain dormant for years unaccounted. Our own passage to the 13 was made relatively simple thanks to the Crystal Tower. An ancient mechanism channeled the tower's vast stores of energy to open a void gate, one bound to a covenant made with a cloud of darkness. Once that sovereign entity was beaten back, however, the covenant was broken and the doorway severed from its connection to the void. Theoretically, it should be possible to reconnect the gate by forging a new pact with another void sent, but such deals usually end in betrayal and death. In any case, we should attempt to gain an understanding of the bounty gate. Maybe you should resume the search for your sister. You could. As I've already explained, I put those futile hopes to rest centuries ago. My place and my duty is here now. I meant to ask, what prompted you to search for the vault in the first place? No, it was all Estinian's idea. Blame everyone but myself. I don't take responsibility. As I recall, 'twas you who was chasing tales of undersea ruins. Well, as you have seen, that this wealth from the stories is quite real, if not its rumored origin. But I'm afraid I must assert a prior claim. I've been adding to that trove for years, little by little. The time has come to spend it, that I might alleviate my people's suffering. And we are of one of mind. We had no intention of taking it for ourselves. Isn't that right, my friend? Yeah. Really, I just want to see the treasure. I'm not going to keep that. Your Excellency, would you object if I were to conduct a closer examination of the gate? I will make no attempt to open it, of course. I owe you, and yours is a debt that can never be repaid. Whatever boon you ask of me, you shall have. You are most gracious. I shall take full advantage of your permission. Would that I could join thee in thy study, but the Lockwards will be anxious to receive my report. I beg my leave of you. And I must be off to Charlemagne as well. Mistress Carl was eager to speak with you about that request, so please come back to the annex as soon as you're able. Farewell for now. We can discuss my findings once I return. You'll not be rid of me so easily. A lot of interconnecting stories. I wonder how this is working. Ooh. Yeah, no problem. Okay, so there's that. This is the main story for this patch. Chronicles of the 12 is separate, so I'll do that after we finish this. Well, elsewhere. Don't be fooled. This may not be the 13th for all we know. It could be within a rift in between. But it seems like it is. I thought this was part of the 12. Maybe I should do that one. Because it may connect to this, kind of like how the Crystal Tower connects with this. Who are you? Are you Xande? I hope you're not. I don't want to see him again. The way you walk. Is it Faris? This music sounds like X-Death. Is it X-Death? No, it doesn't look like him. No way. No way. I think, is that Golbez? Because it seems like his armor too. Who are you? I sense the breaching of a gate, but it was not instigated from this side. It was thrown open from the other. Or is it chaos? This might be Garland or something. Is it Garland? I too felt it. A rare occurrence, yes. With such a tiny portals beneath our notice. There are more pressing matters at hand. An opportunity is upon us, the coming of which we have waited for nigh on 10,000 years. We dare not let it slip our grasp. Is it? Yeah, this is... It could be chaos. Yet we must not underestimate he who bested the cloud of darkness. Even restrained by a covenant, the cloud was no feeble wisp to be dispersed by some flesh and blood mortal. Bah, let him come. I will drown the world and watch this fleshling gasp for breath in his final moments. We know there were other calamities, so are these the embodiments of those calamities? Your zeal is admirable, but forget not our cause. Think back on our struggles beneath this sunless sky. Remember why we cede not our will to fight. Are you? It's Golbez! That has to be him! This time we set the war in motion and win redemption for our star. Dude! It's just using his armor, but that has to be Gold. If it's not him, then I'm crazy, but... Oh my god. Oh my god! I hope you enjoyed the expedition at least. Otherwise, it was a heavy purse to pay for a treasure map leading to a treasure we can keep. Shall we begin? If we are to spend the treasure wisely, then we must first determine which groups would benefit most from the monetary system. I'm sorry, I'm excited. Oh. Some of my citizens may find it intimidating to speak with a satrap directly, so I'd ask that you act in my stead. You need to visit Akeli and Yedimo. Speak with Matsya and his people and listen to their grievances. Standing, I believe the same with Palakistan. I will be conducting my inquiry at Giant Skull grounds. Okay. Once you believe you have ascertained the needs of the populace, we can reconvene at Megaduka. Alright, doable. I am way too excited right now. Oh, I want to start that patch like right away. How long have I been recording? 24 minutes? Okay, that's not too bad. God, it's only been 24 minutes, but there's so much. There's so much. I'm so excited. I'm sorry. My commentary goes straight out of the window when I see something that makes me happy. I haven't seen Golbez's armor in a while. Hold on, let me just check something. I'm checking what his armor looks like. Yeah, that's him! The man in black was his identity before. That's okay. Yeah, that's Golbez. It's quite literally him. It's not him from Final Fantasy IV, but like it's a version of him. Oh, you know, Ritra said there's no concept of male and female, so if his sister transformed, that could be her. God, that's cool! Oh yeah, I'm done with the book, by the way. Yeah, you keep trying, that's good enough. Why'd you make me speak to Matya first? Can I have sharing the wealth? Communism! I'm joking. It's actually a nice concept. You know, if you have quite a bit, then it doesn't hurt to share with your fellow man occasionally. Where's the entrance to the flat? It's here. I'm not going to read everything, my throat's already tired out. So essentially they need a manager or something. Someone who can handle these things. Which makes sense, of course. And no, it's not going to be Matsya. He's not ready for that. He's still too nervous. He can't even sell fish. How do you sell fish in that line anyway? It feels like everyone would be fishing. Hmm. It's true. Okay. I mean, for now, the amount of money they have, it looked like it would sustain a lot of lives. It's hard to say how many victims there are. I don't know. It seems there's a lot, so hopefully offset something. Or you could use it to build something. Let's find out.
I thank you for your attendance. The riches the Radiant Host have retrieved were hoarded in Al-Zadar's name. A fortune I set aside for a future day of need. And lo, that day hath come. May it aid our wounded city in reclaiming its vibrancy and vigor. In better times, I would leave such a task to our capable Ahawan. God's rest his soul. Finding myself bereft of his counsel in the here and now, I will assume the responsibilities of mine office directly. Firstly, the treasure shall be sold for more convenient currency. Thence, invested into the trading port of Yedlamad. Our merchants must have their operations restored, their ships rebuilt. Commerce must flow once more. None were spared the tragedy of the final days. Of this, I am well aware. But an absence was created by the loss of Kalzal's consortium. And by filling it, we provide new means for our fishermen, our artisans, and others to bring their wares to distant markets.
And what of the children who were left without family to care for them?
That is a concern which weigheth heavily upon my mind. A simple gift of coin will soon be exhausted, leaving these young souls adrift on the fringes of our society. Nay, a proper solution is needed, one which doth guarantee their welfare for years to come. Thou hast surely seen how other nations rise to meet this challenge, adventurer. What dost thou deem the wisest course?
Oof. The other nations don't do as well either. I assume they're taxing already. Because you can't tax these guys who are already screwed over. These are kids. They need an orphanage. They need taken care of.
Of course, we can draw on trading profits to build a new institution. Let us put this idea into practice. A contract shall be written, requiring all who receive of Al-Zadar's treasure to commit a portion of their future earnings towards the running of an orphanage. Now, Such an influential policy is deserving of a worthy name.
I'm going to use his name directly. He's responsible for so many.
A fitting candidate. Kalzal should be remembered, not as the blasphemy which terrorized Thavne, but as a hard-working and generous man who brought much wealth to our shores. Do any among you object to this proposition? Many here lost loved ones to the beasts.
In that time of strife, any one of us could have broken. Any one of us may have been taken by despair. When I think of Kalzal, I feel no hatred. Only a stinging regret that we could not save him as well. Isn't that right, men?
This bodes well for that boy. Iraq, was it? Perhaps he can cut ties with that shady peddler.
Then let it be done. Henceforth, this initiative shall be known as the Kalzal Foundation. Nabdeen, thou art to assemble a patrol and ensure that no child in this city liveth in squalor. Clerks, see to the management of our funds and make haste. Our citizens must not suffer a day more than is necessary.
Dragon and man, side by side in pursuit of a brighter morrow. I'm reminded of Ishgard.
He's warming up to his royal satrap. Clearly all those years behind the curtain were not spent. Man, that scene was so strong. I have literally no clue. I can't even say much because I'm just enjoying the story. Oops. Forgive me for not speaking soon, but I have a message from Archon Ishtona. Ooh. Looks like my company has done. And for those of you wondering, the free company I joined was just for the buffs. They don't actually do anything beyond that. Wolfmarks. I really need to do that. I'll do that today after I record as much as I can. This is fine. Yeah, of course he is. Why wouldn't he? Hope is hope.
Right, here we all are.
You discovered something new.
I took a closer look at that device. I was able to determine how it keeps the Void Gate sealed, but not how it might instead be employed to expand the opening. For that, I would need to reference the technique developed by Vritra's alchemists, no records of which appear to have survived the intervening years.
We know this, so why have you sent for us? Have you learned aught of value or not?
Patience, good sir. One must introduce the subject before launching into specifics. From what we understand, travel between worlds is accomplished by passing through the nebulous rift which exists between them. Picture, if you will, the moment you were called to the first. You touched a focus of some kind to help the Exarch pinpoint your location. His summoning spell then channeled the energies of the Crystal Tower to begin your journey to his world. The magics tore a hole in the wall separating source and shard, and cast you into the intervening nothingness. In that place, the laws of nature hold no sway. Yet even through this realm of temporal and spatial instability, you were borne safely to your destination in the first. The feat that guided you across such an unimaginable distance, both physical and metaphorical, was nothing short of a miracle.
Then what of the many voids found in the source? Who guides them here, and how?
That's true. Actually,
An excellent question. Though there are several methods by which the Void's denizens might intrude upon our world, the rituals of summoning are the most typical. For example, let us consider the Gargoyle, a creature of middling power. To call upon such an entity, the prospective summoner must force open a void gate. The portal lasts but a moment and is relatively small, allowing only an imp or other lesser being to squeeze through with their physical body intact. Our more powerful gargoyle, however, is too large for that. Creating a gate big enough for him would require vast amounts of energy, far beyond the reserves of any one mortal practitioner. Instead, 'tis far more common to bring over only the entity's soul. We had a taste of that ourselves when a certain exarch dragged us to the first. And just as our bodies remained in our world, the Void Sense physical form is left behind in the 13th. Once at its destination, the summoned soul is granted a temporary shell to inhabit. In the gargoyle's case, a stone effigy has proven a suitable vessel.
It's actually explain the science too. I like that.
Wait. You said that Voidsent must be called here deliberately by someone in the source, reeled in like a fisherman with his catch.
Exactly. For a being to navigate the chaos of the rift, with or without form, there must needs be a guiding agent.
So all
on the
Voidsent
other
are here
side.
on purpose. Someone's screwing with us.
When the hordes poured forth from Alag's Great Gate, it was the technologists who drew them through. Though to my knowledge, planar fissures are in essence natural passages between our world and the void, which require no such guidance to traverse.
So how do those happen to begin with?
Why is only the boundary between the source and the 13th so fragile? So much so that it often tears open of its own accord.
I believe solving that mystery is key to understanding travel between the source and its reflections.
And how do you intend to get your answers?
No, the danger is too great.
Perhaps. But what some call danger, others think of as adventure.
Were you not listening to my tale? Never mind that the means to expand the gate has been lost to the ages. Even could you force the portal wide enough, you would be greeted by an army of murderous horrors the very instant you step through.
I assure you I was most attentive. And I agree that to go alone would be certain death. But if I were to bring along one who has already braved the 13th and humbled the cloud of darkness, well, I imagine my chances would be much improved.
He's coming in.
I had a feeling you might say that. Once again, I put my life in your ever-reliable hands. That said, as much as I would like to march straight back to the Void Gate, there is the small matter of being unable to open it without the Satrap's personal authority.
As I've said before, I will grant you and yours any boon you choose to name, provided it does not endanger my people.
You have my word that we will take every precaution. Not a single Voidsent will be allowed to threaten Radzatan, assuming we manage to expand the portal in the first place.
You have a plan.
Actually, I had hoped you might help us with that. I presume the alchemists you retained supplied you with some explanation of their methodology.
That they did. House Daymir was overseeing the project.
Daymir. Ah, yes. The family associated with the great work.
I did not fully comprehend the theory, but their research began with a void scent which had slipped through the fissure. After a thorough examination, they created an arcane simulacrum possessed of similar qualities. A man-made void scent, if you will. It was apparently indispensable in their efforts to enlarge the gate.
A man-made void scent.
Yes. Being great admirers of the Archons, House Daymir submitted detailed notes to Charlene's official committee. They expected praise and accolades for their simulacrum, and were thus devastated to be informed that their work had been classified as prohibited material.
If that's true, then those notes might still be stored in a forbidden archive somewhere. Not Google, of course, since that library had yet to be built. Which leaves us with... Indeed. Numenon's restricted stacks may very well hold a copy. In which case, I say we head directly to Charleon.
Unless you anticipate needing help to reach the high shelves. I see myself being of little use. Go on ahead. I still need to find Mirad and tell him about the Kalzal Foundation.
Let us be on our way as well.
They are resolved to venture into the void. Do I sit idly by?
Oof. This is a lot to take in. Plus, with what I see now, I think I know who the big bad is. If we're going Final Fantasy IV route, and this Golbez is actually Azhdaya, there's a bigger bad to deal with. Which I don't mind. I think that could be interesting too. We'll have to see. That must be the 12. I want to do that because I do think it's going to connect with this. Let's see where this goes. And I want to check how much I've been recording. It's almost an hour. I'll stop it soon. I don't know who the head is. Oh, it's that guy? Okay. The old man. Are you? I have to run all the way there. Jesus. Okay. Animations are locked in there. Might be its own thing, but I'm not sure about that. Should I wonder as well? Oh, that's kind of rude of me. Why would I? Yeah. I'm a quick reader more than I am a speaker, so. Pretty much that's the word. Ah. Yeah? Oh. With Master Levelia? Yeah, that's what I figured. She's still accompanying me, so... I think if I had just teleported here, she would have also automatically teleported, which would have cut me some time, but it's fine. Yeah. Riveting gameplay. Along with a riveting commentary. Right? Then again, the settings are not expected to progress better. It's not going to. Yes, we do. This might be a good time to... Yeah, I'm gonna finish this quest. Then I'll stop. At 29. Because I wanted to go through with the 12 next. But that's something I wanted to explore. I get the feeling it's gonna connect somehow. Even if it's just a passing comment, it makes it that much more invaluable to me. I'm curious who is going to offer the quest to me. Let's take a look here. Fresh face stew. Okay. Oh, I'll find it. Ooh. Man, that guy. Yeah, I was gonna say. Wait, where'd she go? There. Jesus. Not so fast. 1 hour, okay. I'm gonna stop the recording and I'll make a new part for this. See you there.